record this so I can send it to you once we get finished. So once you copy and paste that information, it's going to bring you to this page, and this is your dashboard, okay? Which you already have 78 populated pages, and you also have 2 posts. Now, the reason we have this pre-populated is it's your training on how to use your website. Now, the pages that are in there go to offers that I'm going to show you how to get access to, so that they're already there. So we're going to visit your site so you can see what your website looks like. So this is yours.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is your cover page or your first post. As you can see, it has a generic title, Incredible Online Finds. It says bookmark this site. This is one of the things you can change. And this is one of the things I highly suggest you be thinking about. This is what people's going to remember. They're not going to remember this up here. This is just for business purposes. For your advertising, people's going to be remembering the name you tell them. So you want to be thinking about a name that you want to name your website. Now, my website, you can come, I'll come here and show you mine.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That.
That's my cover. I play with computer design all the time. So, so this is my website. And so as you can see, my name is Shop with Mama Chief, your one-stop virtual shopping experience. So that's mine. So whenever I tell anybody, there's like, what do you do now? It's like, oh, I have an internet business, Shop with Mama Chief. So they can come and look with it at this. It's unique. It's strictly mine. There's not another site out there with this name on it. So that's one thing you want, is you want your uniqueness, but you also want it to be related to you. Something that's just unique to Jacqueline that people will relate to, and other people, your friends and family, already know who you are. So like I have one of my students, he's great into 57 Chevys. And so we actually named his website that. And so it's, what was his name? He had a nickname. So we used his nickname and put 57 Chevy because that's what they named, you know, he was recognized at. And people love it. And the pictures up here, we took all the pictures out and put different makes and models of Chevys up there for 57 Chevy. So you can make your website as unique as you want to. So I'm going to be showing you how to go in and change some of that. So if you have a name that you're thinking about, we can go in there and put that in there now. So
yeah, I have a name, but I didn't know what I wanted to put on the beginning of it. You know how you have shop with? I wanted to use Jackie. Well, I actually went on your page. I had been looking for this word for a long time, something to go with Jackie, with that started with a J, that wasn't common. And because I didn't want to use, I was thinking about Jazzy, because I always watch this lady on television, Jazzy Vegetarian. And but I was like, I don't want to use Jazzy because that's common. So I went on your page. And remember when you was telling me just look at your page and blah blah blah. As I was just surfing, and I seen Jaxie, and yeah, that company, I think they allow you to use pictures or some images or something like that.
They actually, Jaxie's a great program. You can get 30 free searches. It helps you find keywords that people are looking for. So it helps you to create pages, and then it's like, okay, well, they're looking for, you know, somebody's looking for seafood, or somebody's looking for plus size clothing. So they will tell you how many people's looking for that word, and you can determine whether or not it's a good word that people will come to your page because of it. So, but yeah.
So I was thinking about using Jackie because it rhymed, and JAA, 2 A's. I didn't want 2 X's because I didn't want people to think X-rated.
All right, now you want Jackie, Jackie?
Yes.
All right. Jazzy.
So that'll be the name of my page.
All right, and then what do you want as
the people not gonna sue me, huh?
Oh no,
Okay.
All right, so what you want is your tagline, like a little one-liner.
Where that's gonna go?
It's gonna go right up underneath here. You see how mine is right there?
Oh, one stop shopper. Oh, I'm gonna have to think about that. Let's see. Well, I can always change it, right?
Yep. Yep. You can always change it.
Let's the place to shop. I don't know.
Okay, we can put that.
The place to shop. I'll change it and make it more. You know.
Yeah, we're just gonna put it here so you can see.
I'll make it stronger later, but you know, us setting everything up, we'll just at least we'll have something in place.
Exactly. So there's how that looks. So we're gonna have that. Now, as you can see, your background color. So you can actually change this color. So it has a default image. We want to change the background. So you can actually come here. I'm going to look in the social media and I'm going to go to blogging pictures and we'll go to background. Where do I have background images? I should have background images. So
oh yeah, there goes some.
So we have a few here. Let's try, and you can always go and search on Google.
That one is cute. The page 0.
This one?
Yeah, because it's just, you know, I love those colors.
All right.
I'm a turquoise person.
There you go. So there's your background. So see how that looks?
Oh, that is pretty. Oh, Sheila, I love it. Yeah.
So we have your background, and then like your header images, that's these pictures right here. These are the ones that come pre-populated in there. You can come and add your own, or you can take out ones you don't like. That's totally up to you. I'll let you go through and play with that. And you can put them, they just have to be this same dimension, or you can have them a little bit bigger. That way it doesn't take up too much space. And then your color. So you actually have, you can change the color of your links. Right here, it's a standard black. As you can see, mine's a fuchsia color, purple. So if you wanted to change it, instead of it not being black, you can put a different color. So
well, let's you think I should leave it black right now until I get used to it?
Until you get used to it, and then you can come back and customize it.
Yeah.
So then we're going to just hit publish.
Okay, yeah, I've seen Rory doing that.
Yep. So and then we're going to come back, and so now your site already looks different. See, there's Jaxie, the place to shop. So there's that. And like you said, once you start thinking about it and get more comfortable, you can come back and change this. You can actually add to it if you want to. It's totally up to you.
What size font y'all use, or is it's already stationary?
What?
When y'all go on, like you put the place to shop and Jaxie, you put that in. So what size font y'all use? The size of letters?
It's already pre-populated. That's the one thing we can't change.
Okay, good. I don't have to worry about that. I was just wondering. Okay, good.
That's the one thing you can't do is it already has its own font. Now, the one thing is once you get into customizing or modifying your page, then you can actually change the size from small, medium, or large. But as far as the different Times Roman, you know, or Arabic or anything like that, we can't change any of that.
Okay, that's fine.
So it's more standardized, makes it just a little bit easier to work with.
Yeah.
So for your homework, this is the category you're going to be going to is your cooking, food, and wine. And you're going to go to your fine wines delivered to your door. And you're going to click on the page. And here's your wine page. And this actually explains about our wine program. And you can watch this at any time, and you'll be able to hear it. Roy went over it a little bit last night. I'm on the training call, and it's like I said, it's a great program. You can come in as a customer for little over $100 with tax. If you wanted to come in as an ambassador so that you can make commission, then the minimum for that one is like $300. And with that, you get a case of wine. I think it's a mixed case. And then every month you have to order a monthly fee order, which is 4 bottles minimum up to a case that you can order. And mine's runs about, I think it's like $130 a month for my 4 bottles of wine.
So the
And
4 bottles, do they mail them to you all at once or
yes,
individual throughout the month?
No, it comes all at once. And because it is an alcoholic beverage, you have to sign for it.
Okay.
And what you can do is, like, they have a good thing with UPS, because it comes UPS. You can actually log in and create an account with UPS and set your time. Because I have mine come whenever it's delivery, the delivery date. They can't drop it off before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That way, if I'm running around with the grandkids or something, I know after 1 o'clock I need to be here. So that they won't, because if you miss 3 pickups, then they send it back, and then you have to pay a reship fee.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. Luckily for me, my UPS, if I'm not here, they'll take it to the distribution center, and I can go pick it up. Not everybody has that option. It just happens that UPS is just down the street for me. So, but this is, like I said, our wine club. Now, the good thing is, after you get your first initial order, which is a mixed case, if you want to, like one of my students, he doesn't like white wine. So you can actually go in and say, hey, from now on, I want all my wines to be red. They can go ahead and, just say their standard shipment's going to be all red wines. There is I think it's like a $15 surcharge, because the red wines are more expensive to make than the white wines. Or you can still get the mixed box and your pricing won't change, or you can get all whites. So it's totally up to you what you want to get. The good thing about it is they're coming from vineyards in Napa Valley, Napa and Sonoma Valley. So everybody knows the vineyards, the makers, the wineries. They're really good wines. I went to get a bottle the other day out of my stock, because I wanted to marinate. I use red wine's a great marinate base for steaks. And and I couldn't find it. I poured it out and opened it, because some of the bottles come with screws, screw caps on it. And this one, I didn't pay attention to the opening. So when I took the foil off, it was a cork, and I couldn't find my corkscrew. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that happens.
So I told my husband, I said, I got to go get me a corkscrew. And I want to get one of the electronic ones, because they said they
those
don't.
are good.
Yeah, because I've heard people say they have the manual ones, and if you don't do the corks just right, you get little drops of cork into your wine. And if you don't drink your wine all at one time, then that cork gets in the wine, and it kind of distorts the flavor as it breaks down.
Okay. I never knew that the
Yeah.
cork does that.
Yeah, if you don't get the cork out all the way out, sometimes it'll little pieces will flake off and drop into the wine. So if you leave your wine in there and say you come back a couple of days later and drink it, it won't taste the same, because that cork starts to dissolve, or some of the properties in the cork actually gets into the mixes with the wine. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get me an electric one, then that way I ain't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, this is going to be your homework, is you're going to come to the cooking food and wine. You're going to go to your fine wines delivered to your door, and it's going to pull up this page. And from here, like I said, I want you to watch this video that actually explains the wine. It's about 25 minutes long. I was going to have us do it today, but I want to actually show you how to go in and start modifying your page. Okay. So what you want to do is, you see your tabs up here, and this is how you work your page. And so when you go into modify, you're always going to click edit page. Okay. And then from here, it's going to put you in your edit mode, where you can actually go in and work your system. Now, some of the things you're going to see, it's going to look weird, like this right here. When you see it, just know that that's going to be a video or something that's copied. So if you just click on your preview, you'll be able to see what's actually in that block.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the thing you want to do is, each paragraph has its own block. You see how it has a block around it? Up at the top corner, it tells you what kind of block you're using. This is a paragraph block. You can actually center it if you want to, do your alignment. If you want to have the whole text centered, you can do that. If you want it to go to the right, or just standard, have it over to the left. So that's one of the things you want to do. And the easiest way that I've learned to do is just read the whole page content, see what it's about, and then you can come back in and modify each little thing. Here's another video, and this is Rory and Tanya, his wife, and this is the first wine and dine show we did. So they want to put that in there. And then like these things right here is actually the link. And I think this is going to be Rory's link. So what you want to do, and this is the first thing I do to every page before I modify it. I come in here and you're going to break that link. And you're just going to come here, and that way you can take all the links out.
Well, why are we doing that?
Because you're going to be putting in a different link. And then that way you can actually decide if you want to put a link somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So it's kind of distracting, especially when you're starting. Then, you might think, okay, I have to put a link there because the link came from there. And that's not always the case. Same thing with pictures. I usually take out all my pictures because I want to use my own pictures instead of theirs. So that's one of the things you can do. So I'm going to come through here and we're going to take you.
So if I'm taking out the links, then how I know what links or what to put in, to talk about the item?
Okay, since this is Rory's link and we want to make sure we stay in the same one, I'm going to put my link there. And then when you get into the wine club or decide to get into wine club, then you'll get your own link and you can just replace it.
Oh.
Yep. Because you want to make sure that you can get compensation for it. And if you get, and the reason I'm putting my link there is because I can track where it came from. So if it comes from your website, I can look and say, oh, this came from Jacqueline's website. I can go back in later once you get in and have that person or that company transferred over to you so that you start getting credit for it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one of the things you're going to see after we do this is I'm going to explain some of the things about your page. I thought Wine Magic's going to be about that. Wine Magic. Okay, we can leave that in there. So when you come across information like this, you see this weird number right here. Okay, this is a glitch in the computer programming. They cannot take it out for whatever reason. They can't get it to fix. But because of the percent sign is actually a code or is an embed code that they use in coding. Whenever you put a percent sign in and you transfer or copy a page over from one system to another, it thinks it's a code. So it basically assigns it a code message. So you have to take this out from bracket to bracket, and that is actually a percent sign. That's all that is.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So whenever you see that long string of characters, just remember, oh, I got to take that out and put a percent sign in.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then after you do that, then you're just going to hit update. You always hit update about every couple of changes that you do, or if you're updating a lot of paragraph information, you want to go ahead and hit that update. I'm going to take this picture out because there's too many pictures right there on top of each other. And the way you remove anything is once you click on the block, you have these three dots. When you click on these three dots, and it asks you what you want to do. In this case, we want to remove the block.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the other thing that you have the option to do, and here's another one. These pictures are just too close together. We don't want all that. Is each picture is also linked. So you want to, and like I said, and I'll show you how to come back and add pictures if you want to. So each picture is also linked. So what you want to do is you want to click on the picture, and you see this little button right here, the link button. You want to click on it to see if there's a link in there. So there's a link in there and you don't want it. Remember, we're going to change those links right now. So you're going to take that link out, and we're going to do that for all the pictures. Videos are not linked. So that's one of the things you don't have to worry about, is videos are not linked. And we're going to take all these links out. And we're going to come back and put the correct one, at least for our group in there, and that way you can And like I said, I can track it and until you are able to get into the wine club if that's an option you want to do. And what's going to happen is after you finish the wine pages and get them modified, you're going to let me know and say, hey, I've finished this page. Can you go in and have a look at it? And I'm going to show you how to send it to me. And then I'll go through and look at it. Once I see that you've done the wine pages, then I'm going to put you in to be requested to see if you qualify for the IBO program.
Okay.
That Roy was talking about last Tuesday. So we're gonna I'm gonna make sure I do that. So what you're gonna do here is you're gonna just put this page into your own words. And if you see a couple of paragraphs that can mingle together, then by all means do that. And the way you can do that is just when you click on the paragraph, it highlights the box, and then that way you can actually start writing in the box. So this one, it says fine wines are just a click away. Now you don't even have the need to leave your home. They can come right to your door and you will get the benefit of the amazing spirits of each. And see this right here, whether you enjoy red, whites, or both, there is a solution for it. So to me, this could be one paragraph.
Yeah.
So all you're going to do is you're going to click on this little plus box and you're going to click on paragraph, and it's going to open a new box. And then what you want to do is combine those two sentences. You always want to make sure you use at least fine wines, since that's what we're talking about. All right. So basically what I've done was I've taken the content, the most important content from this paragraph and this paragraph, and combined it and made one paragraph. So now it's uniquely for this page. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this block and I'm going to remove this one. So now we've taken those two paragraphs and made one paragraph, but it still says the same thing, you know, but now it's in our own words, so it's not an exact copy. And usually what I do is after I've done something like that, I go ahead and hit my update. And then that's how, you know, we're going to do that. So then we're going to come down here, and here is your, you know, go here to order and get your fine wines delivered to your door. Again, we want to make sure that we change that. Now you can also go in and write directly into the block if you want to. All right, and then so you can do that. And we're going to get rid of this. And then if you wanted to center that, and then we can bold it. It's already bolded. And then we're going to put a link in there. Now, for your link, once you get into the wine club, I'll show you what that looks like. It's going to be Wine Ambassador. And then here's your link right here. Copy that. And then you're going to come back to your website. And then you're going to highlight wherever you want to put it. We want to make sure we put it here. And you're going to click this link button. And it's going to open up this block. And you're just going to paste the link in there. And then you're going to click open in a new tab. And then that way, when anybody clicks that link, and then you're going to click submit. And then that turns it blue. Now, if you wanted to change that color, I'm hoping we can change that color. Say if you wanted to do it a green. Sometimes it lets you change the color. This one it won't because we have a link in it. Anytime you put a link in it, it leaves it blue. Now, if we didn't want this to be a link, we can actually come in here and put the text color, different color, if you wanted to do that. But once you link it, it's automatically going to turn it blue. Okay. So we're going to go back to black. So that's just how you can pretty it up. So same thing up here. We're going to do the same thing. So fine wines delivered to your door. It's just a simple click of a button. So again, you determine where you want those links based on what you write. That's why I always say if you take the links out and after you finish writing your information, you can always come back and determine if that is the place you want to put it, because your words are not going to be always the same. So that's one of the things you want to do. Hold on, let me.
So the links that.
Go ahead.
The links that you're adding is the links that they're going to click on to order.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm saying, well, how many links you put per page? Because it's the same link, right?
Yep. And it depends. You can put as many as you want. I usually put one about every couple of paragraphs.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Hold on, let me. So I do one about every couple of paragraphs. And then you can put it like, again, depending on what you write or how many you write, you can put like 2 in this one. Because you're telling them with our wonderful Wine of the Month Club. All right, so that's a good thing. You want them to know it's the Wine of the Month Club. So again, you can put your link in there so they can click, and make sure you always click open in a new tab. And then you're going to submit, and then that way they know, hey, this is a Wine of the Month Club. And there you go. So now they have 2 distinct places where they can go and click and go and see what you're offering. And then here's another one. You tell them right off the bat, here, click here and get started. So then when you go in and start modifying your pages, maybe you'll come, or your wording, maybe this isn't the place you want to, or maybe you don't even use Wine of the Month Club again. So you won't have that link there. Your words might be different. Same thing with this picture. Say if you don't want this picture there, you can remove that picture out of there. And then you just have your words, and then you can come back, and I'm going to show you where your pictures are. We're just going to go ahead and remove all the pictures. And I'm going to show you how to get your pictures back. So one of your homework assignments is going to be to finish modifying this page. And I'm going to show you how to go in and get these pictures back. I'm going to leave a couple of them in there for you so it doesn't. Okay. So when you get ready to go back in and say, hey, I want a picture somewhere in here, then you can do one or two things. You see this little plus sign again. You're going to click on this block, and each item that you want to put in your website has a block for that particular item. So if you want to put a picture, it's called an image block. So we're going to click on image. And you have a media library, and your media library is full of pictures already. So what you can do is come to your media library. Once it loads up, might take it a minute. There you go. So this is all the images that are currently in your media library. So what you can do is scroll through here, and some of them, these are images that are already in your website. It's still loading up. I was going to say there's plenty more in there. It's not finished. I'm going to have plenty more in there.
And these pictures are to describe, well, illustration of what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And you can put them anywhere you want. You know, like this is a wine page. So you want to use images for wine, you know, however you want to portray it. I don't know why it's taking so long to put images in there. Your library to load up. There we go. So like here's your different wine.
That's pretty, yeah.
Yep. So you can actually come in here and that's why I said if we took, there's different wine sayings in here. If you wanted to put a wine saying in there.
Wine allows no pouting.
Yeah.
I like that.
So my computer must be really slow, but here is, you know, these are all images. See, it's still loading up. So there's some more wine images, and you know, all the different sayings are there. You have different wine images itself. There's some more. They're still loading.
You have a lot to choose from.
Yeah, you have a lot to choose from. And then if for whatever reason you're like, well, I really don't see the image I want in here, or I want to get something different, because see, here's all the different ones too. You can actually go into Google and, you know, find something in Google and have it downloaded. So the one picture that we're going to put in there is, maybe let's select this one, and we're going to select that, and there's your image.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then you can actually place it, say, hey, I want this to go to the left. And then it puts it on the left-hand side. Or if you wanted to put it on the right, you can tell it to go to the right. If you want it to go center, you can tell it to go center, and then it puts it in between the two paragraphs. So that's one of the ways you can, you know, go in there and select your pictures. And that's why I always start with a clean page. I take out all the links. I take out all the pictures except for the videos. I leave the videos in there. Then that way, as I'm writing, I'm not getting distracted by the pictures that are already there, because that might not be the right picture for what I'm getting ready to say or for what I'm saying. I don't want to write based on what the picture is. I want to write based on what the word or the paragraph I'm trying to construct is. So that's one of the easiest ways for me to keep my mind on track instead of looking at the picture. Then you can come back after you get finished writing and it's all in your words now. Then you can come back and say, okay, let me look at my pictures and see which ones fits what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And then things like this, with information about, like I said, the Wine and Dine show, you can leave that there. You can actually move it. These little arrows right here actually show, you know, if you wanted to move it down below here, you can move your whole paragraph, or leave it where it's at. That's totally up to you. I moved it too far. As I said, it went too far, but it'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there it is. So that's one of the things you can do. The other thing is sometimes it'll come up and it'll tell you, if you look, it's like, oh, that's a really long paragraph. You can click on this button again, and you can add a heading. And we're going to do a heading 3, and you can actually type in Wine and Dine Show.
Okay. So how do you know, like this Wine and Dine with Rory and Tanya, I know you leave that on the page, but how do you know on all the other pages what you can't remove and what has to stay there?
You can remove everything if you want to.
Oh, but no,
yeah.
I would keep that because that's a good
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, that's just one of the pages. So here's your list of all the pages in your website. So if you come over here to pages and click on all pages, it's going to bring up a list of all of your pages that's currently in your website. And say that you come to your beauty savings, and you're going to click on your edit, and it's going to automatically put you in edit mode, so you can just start writing. And yeah, so, and say you come through here and you don't like any of the pictures, you don't like anything that this has to say, you can actually remove it. So this is one of the things right here. See, this is a category list. It has nothing to do with an image. And say if you don't want to put that in there, you can actually take it out. One of the things I'm going to show you is when you come up across anything that has this code in it, or a code, if you click on preview, you can see what's in there, and then decide if you want to keep it. Now, this is one that you're going to have to copy. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You're going to copy this information. So you're just going to highlight it, because you can't edit it when it's in code. And then we're going to highlight all of this just in this block, and we're going to hit copy. And then we're going to open up a new block. So we're going to click here, and we're going to do a new paragraph block, and we're going to paste that information in there. So see how it looks different now?
Okay.
So now you can actually work with it, whereas this one you can't work with. We're going to go ahead and put it back in code and remove it. Then that way, when you come in here now, you can actually modify this information and take out the links that are in here, and then put your own links in. And then, like I said, you might come back in here and say, well, I don't even want to use this information. It's not something I have access to, or I don't have a company to go in here. Or, you can still go in and change it and explain how, you have personal care, what it's for. You can do bath and shower. Maybe you don't want to do anything with foot care, or bust care. You can take out what you want to take out, leave in what you want to leave in. But the one thing about our website, like I said, other than changing this and your password, it's uniquely yours. If you come across the page and you don't like it, you can take it out. You can put it in draft. You can remove all the content and start over. If there's pictures in there that you don't like, take the pictures out and, add the ones you want to. I have one of my students, she didn't like the lingerie link or the lingerie page that was in there. She just felt it was too risque. She's like, I'm not going to tell people that women's going to buy what kind of panties and bras they want to, So she took the whole page out. She just put it in draft. It's there. It's like I told her, I said, you don't ever want to trash anything, because you never know when you might come back later and find something that might be a little bit more along your line of taste, that you can go in and modify that page to fit the way you want your thinking, or your belief system. So that's why I always say, if you can modify the page, modify it. If it's something that you're not going to do right now, then go ahead and put it in draft. Okay. So
now, Sheila, about the wine ambassador. So the one you were telling me about that you have, that's the first, that's the only, that's the, I don't want to say lowest level of it that you can have.
Yes, ma'am. The one that I have is, I bought the $300 one. And with it, they have the $300, the $600, and the $1,200 one. They all have the same commission profile. You can work up to the other programs, but you can make money with all of them. The only difference is the other two have perks that the $300 one doesn't. But that, like I said, you can upgrade at any time, which is what I tell all of my students. Get in at the lowest level you can get in that you can afford. If it's just coming in as a customer, come in as a customer. If you want to just come in as the wine ambassador first, level 1, then come in as the wine ambassador. At least then you can make commissions. Customers don't make commissions. They just get, if they get 3 customers, then their wine's free. Even you as a wine ambassador, if you get 3 customers, then your monthly shipment's free. You just have to pay for your shipping. Right now, my shipping is like I think it's $14 a month. So I get free wine every month. I don't, and all I pay is just the shipping charges. So that's one of the benefits of it, is that no matter which level you come in, you still have the same perks as the first level. The second level, at the $600 level, your commission, once you get, I think it's 8, was it 9, 10? You get, after you get 10 reps or customers, then you start getting a check match bonus. And then at the $1,200, it goes from 20% to 30%. So you get a 20% check match bonus. And then at the $1,200 level, you get a 30% check match bonus. So you have a few little perks that also with the $1,200 level, which is our Grand Cru, you get a black card, which enables you to go into any functions that we have, any business conferences. You get first priority at the best seatings. You get priorities when they have the hotel reservations. You get first dibs at the best hotels and things like that, so that you are all there. If there's a special guest, you get to go to the dinners with the special guest. I know when we had it last time, we all got to go a day earlier than everybody else did. And actually sit around and talk with the speakers, the guest speakers, actually had a fun day out. So there's a few things, just some perks, but the commission's all the same. If you have a customer that come in, after your 4th customer comes in, you start getting a $20 residual on that customer every month, along with your free wine. Also as an ambassador, anybody that you bring in as another ambassador, you get half commission off whatever their startup fee is. So if somebody comes in at the $300 level, you get $150 right off the bat. If they come in at the $600 level, again, you get 50% right off the bat. That's your commission for bringing them in. On top of that, every month that they get wine, you get commissions added, not commissions, but you get points that transfer into dollars at the end of the month. So as long as they continue to order their wine every month and are a customer for their own business, then you also get a percentage of whatever they buy. So if they just are a regular customer, as a program member, then you get, I think it's like was it 10% of whatever their fee is, depending on their tax. So it's $99. So that's $9 every month you get in your account. And then every Friday they tally up the commissions. So say like somebody bought a wine ambassador last month or last night, which 12 midnight was the cutoff date for your commissions. Then next Friday, I would get a check for that commission. So you kind of work a week in the hole from when it is. But now if somebody signs up tonight, then I have to wait 2 weeks before that commission kicks in, because they always give you a week lag to make sure that the customer doesn't cancel, make sure they get their wine on time, make sure there's no problems before they pay you, because they don't want to pay you and then come around and say, oh, by the way, we had to take that money back. So they always give you, basically, I'll tell people, I say, you're working a week in the hole. But they do pay you every month, every week, or every other week, depending on when it is. But the cycle is weekly. Once you get started, you'll get commissions put in there. And then every Friday at 5 o'clock, they release the money. So after 5 o'clock, I think it's Central Time, you can actually go into your back office and withdraw those funds. You can either have them transferred straight to your checking account. You can put them in PayPal. You can tell them request you a check, but it usually takes a long time. They tell you minimum 3 weeks before you get a check. So I just do direct deposit. Just do a direct deposit. It goes in there, and I think there's like $1.50 service charge. So I just do it once a month, and that way I just have that one fee instead of doing it every week.
So okay, now Sheila, when you say customer, the customer, say for instance, if somebody going to my site and want to buy wine, after I become an ambassador, they have to order, every week, or is it auto refill? Once they become a customer, wine is continued sent to them, or how does that go?
Yeah, it's a monthly wine club, so they have to, and it tells them in the beginning when they sign up, it comes every month. Unless they go in and change it, they will get a wine shipment on a certain day every month. Like mine's the 24th. Every 24th, my wine order goes out, and then I usually have it in 7 days. By the first of that month, the next month, my wine's here. But I get credit for that previous month. So every month that they set it up, so if somebody orders tonight, then next month on the 2nd, they'll have a charge come out of their account now for their wine delivery. Now, say if they're going out of town, or they don't want it that month, then they can go into their back office and suspend their shipment for that month. But if they do it consecutively for 3 times, then they drop off the club, and then they have to come back in and start over. You also have to remember that if they are your customer, even if you just have one customer, if they order consecutively for 3 months, the 4th month, your wine's free.
Oh, okay.
So you want to make sure that they stay in the wine. And then if you have 2 customers, then every 2nd month, your wine's free. And then if you get a 3rd customer, then every month your wine's free. So even if you only have one customer, you're guaranteed, as long as they order every month, you're guaranteed every 4th month, you're going to get a free shipment of wine.
Okay.
So, and then the same thing, like I said, as a wine ambassador, and I've had some of my customers, there's like, hey, I was on the call and I heard that you make money. I was like, yeah, I told you. And there's like, well, I got some friends of mine that want to, get in, and because they like my wine, and they'll sign up as an ambassador, because it's like, okay, we'll tell them to sign up, and if they sign up as a club member, then the person that signs them up, they get the free wine, but I get the commission because I'm the ambassador. So that's the thing that you also want to make them aware of, that, hey, if they want to sign up as a customer, then yeah, get in as a customer. But if somebody else comes in and say, hey, I want to be an ambassador, then, the customer doesn't get the commission. The next person up that's actually an ambassador or representative, they're the one that gets the commission, but the customer still gets that free wine, so and usually when you tell them, it's like, hey, I'm going to get your commission for bringing this person in. Most of the time people want to sign up, and it's like, yeah, I got some more people wanting to get in, because the wine's really good from what everybody's saying. When I opened a bottle of white wine the other day, one of the corkscrews, I think it was my last one, or the screw top, it smelled so good. I was like, it had such a fruity taste to it. I was like, oh my God, this smells so good.
Now, I'm not a drinker either, but I'll sip wine maybe twice a year or something like that. But now that I'm getting into the club, and I like fruity and sweet wine, so I probably be tasting the different ones. But no, I mostly drink a little wine if I just want to settle down. You know what I'm saying?
Just relax.
Or either around Christmas time, and that's about it.
Yeah, my daddy, he doesn't drink a lot. He used to drink a lot when we were little, and he gave it up. And I was so glad. He wasn't a drunk, but it's like when the weekend came, that's what he did. He sat there, he went to his race with his buddies, and they drank. And and he was just like, as he got older and we got older, he told me, because I always asked him, I was like, well, Dad, why did all of a sudden you quit drinking? He said, well, y'all got older, you needed more stuff, and he said, and it just doesn't seem right for me to be spending all my money on beer when y'all needed things. And he said, so I have a very responsible dad. And then like now, he said he's retired. He said, there's just some days I just, I've had a rough day, been in the yard all day or whatever. He said, I just want to sit down on the back porch and just have a glass of wine and relax. you
Mm.
know, and I was like, okay, that's great, you know, and that's what he'll do. Mama sit there on the other side of him, you know, and they'll have the music on, and he'll just, you know, have his little glass of wine, and he just does one, and like he said, might be once or twice a month, but that's it, you know. Just like you said, just the wind down and settle and just enjoy whatever he wants to
Mhm.
enjoy. And see, I've been cooking with wine forever, you know, and I just buy a cheap bottle off the shelf at the grocery store. But it
Mhm.
just makes, the other day we were grilling steaks out, and I was like, you know, I wanted to make a wine marinade, and I was like, I want a white wine marinade. And when I opened that bottle and I just smelled it, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to waste this on a marinade.
Yeah.
I was like, boy, this smells good. It had like a apple taste smell to it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my, and it just smelled so good. I was like, God, it smells
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, when I was on the wine and dine last night and they all was holding the glasses up, they
Yeah,
looked just so good. Yeah. Yeah.
they
I
do
said, oh,
that.
I was like, oh, I gotta pour me a bottle of a glass of wine next week. Yeah.
Yep, they do that every week. And Priscilla, she has the tumbler. Sometimes she has a little tumbler, and I
Uh-huh.
was in the store yesterday and I saw some tumblers. I was like, you know, might have to get me some tumblers. But my mom has this machine that she can etch on glass.
Uh-huh.
So I told her, I said, I'm gonna get me some tumblers and bring them to you so you can etch my logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's a great program. And, you know, that's one of the things I say, you know, I tell people all the time, I was like, I don't drink, you know, I
Mhm.
might, like I told Roy, I said, you never know when I actually cook on the Wine and Dine show one day. I said, that might be the day I actually sample the wine. I said, but if it ain't good, I'm going to let you know. You
Yeah, but I
know,
know it's good from where it come from because I done
yeah,
heard a lot about Napa and some how you say it,
Sonoma. Yeah,
Sonoma. Yeah, I
yep,
done heard a lot
well,
about them. And
yep,
every time we have a lot of relatives in California, and every
uh-huh,
time they would come to New Orleans to visit during the summer, they would always bring us several bottles of wine. And
mm-hmm,
back then, I was too young to drink. I was
yep,
still in teenager, so like 13, 14. And so my aunts and them let me get one little swallow and that would
yep,
be it. But it was good. It was
yep.
really good.
I actually was one of the top sellers last year.
Ooh,
Yep.
okay.
And
Go
and
ahead, Sheila.
and I won a trip. They actually sent us on a 4-day trip to Napa. They
Oh, well, you
paid for
don't
the
need to
air.
drink. If you sell
Uh-uh.
like that,
Uh-uh. they
if you
they
sell like that,
yeah.
you don't need to drink. Exactly.
And I didn't. And the thing about it is it was 4 days, all expenses paid. They paid for your plane fare. They actually sent you the
Mhm.
ticket, what plane to get on based on where you were, your location. They
Yeah.
played. We stayed at a 4-star hotel in downtown. Um, where was it? Um, where the Raiders are. God, I can't think of it.
Oh, the Raiders.
It wasn't Los Angeles. I have to look at. No, let me. We were in Napa. Duh. We were in a
Okay.
hotel in Napa
Yeah.
because we went by. Because that's why I was saying when we left the airport, we went by the Raider Stadium. So they
Okay.
took us by the Raider Stadium, and we actually got a tour of the Dallas Stadium. We went to Dallas
Oh.
Stadium. We got to go through Jerry Jones's penthouse up there and
Uh-huh.
where he sits in the booth. We went through the the locker rooms. We went through the
Uh-huh.
cheerleaders' locker rooms. We actually went down in the basement. Did you know they have a full-size jail down in the basement for any rowdy people?
Really? No,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I ain't need it. And they said what it is when fights or anything breaks out, instead of them having to call and disrupt everybody, they just take them
Yeah.
down to the jail, and then the police come and get them after the game.
Well,
Yep,
that's good. Now
yep.
that you're telling me that, that's probably where that man went. I forget what game it was. I think it was a football game where the man start running across the field
Yep,
naked.
yep, yep.
Yeah, they
That's what
probably
they
put
do.
him down there.
They take them down there, and we got in the big. They have 4 elevators, And one of the elevators, I bet you could get a full-size van in there. That thing was big. And they were showing us how the big TVs they have set up there where you can see the big TVs. Those things are huge. And then they were showing us about talking about the dome, how it opens and the cable that they have it on.
Oh yeah, that one is new, huh?
Yeah,
that's
and they said,
yeah,
that's the new one. And they were talking about that the support goes 10 stories down in the ground.
Whoa!
10
I can't
stories.
even imagine that.
I was like, so they were saying it's as deep in the ground as it is tall.
Ooh.
So I was like, man, but it just, I mean, just the things and this is all expenses paid. They took us to this great barbecue joint that was right down from the stadium. Some of the best barbecue we had, and we went to like four or five vineyards while we were there. And one of
should have been real nice, huh?
One of them was Castle McCullough. I think that was the name of it.
Okay.
That was there, and it's an actual castle that they rebuilt from the owner's clan is what they call it, or his family. And they're one of the first Napa families that came over that started the vineyards, and it's an actual castle. I mean, it's got the turrets and everything in it. And we were down in the basement, and they were showing us how they cure the wines and put them in the vats and in the barrels, and where they store them, so they can cure. Because they said they usually let them cure for 2 to 3 years before they actually bottle them. And I was asking them all this stuff and writing them down, and then they took us to the tasting room, and this was probably like our third one that we had went to. And there was 19 of us. And I, because like I said, I didn't drink, so I never tasted it. One of my girlfriends, she was with me, and I would always say, like, Natasha, swirl it around. I'd swirl it, I said, now how does it taste? And she'd taste it, and she'd tell me, she's like, well, you need to taste it because your taste buds isn't like mine. I said, I'll take your word for it. And one of the ladies turned around when I was asking a question to the tour guide, and he answered her. She turned around and she looked at me. She's like, this is our third place that we've gone to, and she said, you haven't tasted one wine. She said, why? And I looked at her and I said, well, I don't drink. And everybody in the group, Miss Jacqueline, I kid you not, turned around and looked at me like I had snakes coming out of my head. They said, it was like, you're in a wine program and you're on a trip for sales, and you don't drink wine. And Rory come up and he said, nope, she don't drink a lick.
Oh, Sheila, you gotta at least wet your tongue.
That's what I said. I got to try it. I'm gonna break down it. I might have to go in there and try that one. This is still in the refrigerator. It's a white wine. I was like, there's about a cup left. So I said, I might have to try that one.
Yeah, you don't have to swallow it. Just wet your tongue.
Yeah, it smells so good. I was like, God, it smells so good.
And most times, how it smells is how it tastes.
Yeah. Because I think I don't know if Priscilla, that was on the Wine and Dine show, she won a contest 2 months ago that we have, and Roy tries to do a contest every 2 or 3 months, or the wine club does, and she actually has a Moscato coming out from our wine labeler that is naming the wine after her. It's going to be Ashley.
And they said something about that last night, but they didn't say, they didn't explain it fully. I didn't know what they were talking about, but they mentioned it.
Yeah, and it's a Moscato, and this is going to be our second Moscato that we've had made, that's been made, and it's going to be exclusively for our label. The wine company is going to make it, and so we get to choose the names of it, and that's why we're having the contest that he was talking about. And so Priscilla won it 2 months ago, and her last name's Ashley, so the Moscato is going to be called Ashley.
Okay.
So excellent. I have a bunch of friends. I've been telling them, I was like, July, we're getting a Moscato, and I have one of my girlfriends called me yesterday. She said, now you remember me for that Moscato, right? I said, yes,
Yeah.
Regina, I'll come to you and bring you that Moscato.
So it's gonna be an ongoing product, a limited time, a
Yeah,
special edition.
it's probably going to be special edition for
Uh-huh.
this year. I don't know how many bottles they make or going to
Okay.
make, and then if it's a good sales, then they'll probably
Hmm.
continue it. But that's one of the things, I don't, Rory, if you ever hear Rory talk on Wednesday nights, is that's what he tells, is that a properly made wine will taste different from year to year based on how the grape grows, the conditions of the soil. Even though the process is the same, the
Hmm.
grape might be different based on the rain content, what's in the atmosphere of the soil, of the air, what's in
Yeah.
the how they cure the soil before it's the grape is harvested.
Hmm.
So like he was saying, we might have the same Moscato next
Hmm.
year, but it may not taste the same. It may be sweeter. It may be a little bit more dry. You just never know. But that's how you can tell that it's processed properly. Every year, the wine should taste different. It shouldn't taste the same every year. Um, and that's why we're saying if you buy wine in the store, every year it's going to taste the same because it's processed. It's factory made. It's not made according to the old style vineyards. They add the sulfites in it that makes it taste that way. And that's why people get headaches, because they're not natural sulfites, they're added sulfites, so that they can have the same flavor every year after year after year. Um, so, and that's some of the questions that I was asking. I was like, well, do y'all add sulfites? And it was like, no, we don't. However it comes out, that's how it comes out. So it's interesting to see how that's made, and how white wines are cold filtered and red wines are hot filtered. So you heat up the grape for the red wine, and you chill the grape for the white wine.
Okay.
So and that's why you can drink red wine at room temperature, but you have to chill the white wine. It enhances the flavor. So just different things. But that's one of the things that you will learn or like I said, our wine company is a great company. And you don't have to drink it, but if you do, you do. And but that's one of the things. So for your homework, and like I said, I'm recording this. So once the recording's over, I'll be able to send it to you so you can see how we can do this. I'm also gonna on your homework that you had a document. These are the things that I want you to sign up for. These are all free programs. State-based, you won't be able to get into right now because they actually have the site down. They are revamping it a little bit because we're going to be able to get more countries in there. So they're making sure all the regulations are in order before we can do that. So these are the different companies I want you to go in and register for. And then on Skype, if you can, we want you to go on Skype. And this is me. So once you go onto Skype, I'm going to show you how Skype looks. Once you get in there, you're going to go up here to the search, and you're going to type in that information or paste it over that information, and then it'll pull up me. You'll see my picture, and you're just going to type in and say hi, and it'll show up here on my list.
Wait,
And
what I'm typing in the search?
when you go into search for Skype, you're going to type in this right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Live quality tips. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So just copy that and paste it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep. And then this right here is your new student hand sheet, and that's just something that you can keep. It is on my website, and it's only exclusively for my students. So this is your information at a glance. This is your Triple R 247 training. This is your Google Docs, and then this is your Blogging for Cash series, your Response Magic for information. If you don't sign up through your email, you can actually come to this page and sign up for all your different things. And then also here's your, if you decide to get into wine, or whenever you decide to get into the wine, here's the link. You can click on that and go ahead and join. I'll get a notification as soon as you join. And then later on, we'll go in and I'll tell you about our coffee. That's our other anchor offer that you pay for, is our weight loss coffee. But they don't just have coffee. They have hot chocolate. They have energy drinks. They have protein drinks. They have vitamins. They have carb blockers. They have keto creamer. They have meal replacement shakes. And they're starting to get into some cosmetics. So they have an anti-aging cream and an anti-wrinkle cream. They also have some pet care stuff in there that you can get for your pets. And then we have our weekly meetings. I have those listed out here for you under step 5. So that if you ever forget, hey, where's my link for that meeting? Here's our meetings for our Tuesday calls, our Wednesday calls, and then our Monday night calls is where we actually do our training for our wine program. So you can actually look and come in there, and it's the same link, or they're all the same link. Our Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night calls are at 9. Our Wednesday night calls at 8:30. And then this is my story, if you want to listen to it. Rory had me on the training call when I first got in, shortly after I got in. Actually, this is October. God, that's probably 8 months. Yeah, right after I started making some good money. And it's just my story about how I got started, where I came from, my background and everything, if you want to listen to that.
Okay.
And then just different information that I have here for you to be able to look at. So just, and then my YouTube channel, you have access to that to go in and look, and I have all of my trainings classes on there. I actually do a training class on Saturday for anybody that needs extra help. I always invite all of my students there, and I go over any questions that you might have, or any issues that some of the instructors say that their students need to go over. Sort of like what Paul does on Thursday nights, I do it on Saturday afternoons. So this is just basically your general information that you can have at your fingertips.
Okay.
Okay. And then this is your spreadsheet for your Google Docs. And this is the fast track. How you want to, basically your pages that you can go through, what you need to do. So again, here's your bookmark. These are your pages you want to do, your fine wine, Australia, Canada. So do all of these pages. They're in your website. Okay. And this will be for your homework. And it'll be just like we started on your fine wines delivered to your door. You just want to go through and do each paragraph, or if you want to do multiple paragraphs and create just one paragraph, you want to do that. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. So that's why I say, if you have time, work on a page a day. If you don't finish it that day, take it over to the next day, and structure it, where you still have some free time to go out and do whatever you need to do. Don't get too overwhelmed. If you get in a situation, or and you don't know quite where to go, you can text me. If you get Skype up, you can always Skype me. I keep my Skype on my phone, so usually I get that sometimes before I get a text message. But either way, just say, hey, I got a question, or I ran into a snag. What can I do? And I can usually direct you or instruct you straight from that text message or Skype.
Okay.
And then the other thing I want us to do is set up a time, which we're going to set up Thursday at 2:30 every week. Sound good to you? Or if something changes and you need to get another time, I want us to meet every week so that we can make sure that we're getting you on track and keeping you on track for what you need to do.
Okay. Thursday at 2:30 is fine.
Okay, so we'll do that. And then that's just the one thing, like I said, I want you to do. And you have 78 pages in here, and all you want to do is just come to your dashboard and go to your all pages. And then based on this roadmap, you just want to start with your fine wines delivered to your door, and they're all in alphabetical order. And you just want to go back to that one.
Wait, where is it? Okay, fine
Right
wines.
here.
Okay. Do you have to check the box or anything? No.
No, you just click on edit.
And
it takes you straight into edit.
Okay.
So then all you have to do is so we already did this first paragraph. We did this one. So you're going to start right here.
Okay.
And like I said, you can just read your information, and then you can go from one section to the next section and say, okay, I got this information down, you know, and then modify it. And then you can start the next section, you know, read that information and then say, okay, I got that information down, and then modify it, and then just keep going section by section. To me, that's a little bit easier than trying to read everything and then it's like, okay, what did I just read?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what happened with me.
Yep. Yep. So that's why I said if you do it by sections, it kind of flows a little bit easier.
Yeah, you understand it better,
Yep.
and then you get the hang of it more.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly. So that's why I said, you know, just take it in little baby bites,
Mhm.
and do it a little bit at a time. And if you come across a section and you read it and you're just like, man, this really sounds good, I can't make it any better. It's
Mhm.
okay to leave certain sections. You just don't want to leave whole big sections. But
Mhm.
even if just you change your word here and there, it makes it better than leaving the whole thing there. But there's just some places that it just sounds better the way it is, and you just want to leave it. That's perfectly okay. You just don't want
Mhm.
to have a whole big section. 2 or 3 sentences, or maybe even one small paragraph is fine, but you want to make sure that you get as much of that page into your own writing as you can.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, to be honest with you, Sheila, I'm gonna woosah this evening, and I'm gonna get with it later on tonight because I
Yep.
just need that mental rest right now.
No problem. That's why I said you work at your pace. That's why I said don't let it overwhelm you. You know what you need to do.
Mhm.
And as soon as this recording's finished, I'll go ahead and send that to you in your email. So you'll have that link. You can always go back and look at it, see what we
Okay.
did to refresh yourself.
Mhm.
Then, like I said, if you come across any problems, watch Paul's video tonight or his training tonight, because he's going to be going over basically the same thing that we just did. It's just going to be on a different page.
Okay.
Um, and you'll be able to go in and, you know, see how he does it. He records his too. So I'll be able to send you that link as soon as it gets updated. But yeah, you won't be by yourself. You know, I'm here if you need anything. And like I said, we're going to meet every week.
Mhm.
And then if you can be on those Saturday calls and ask questions, and we can get anything resolved. Don't ever sit in front of your computer trying to write something and you just have brain block, or you're like you need to get away. Get up and walk away. um,
Mhm.
I have more people call me frustrated and it's like, I've been sitting here all day. Well, that's the problem. Get up, move, refresh, go out, do some grocery shopping, walk around your neighborhood, you know, do
Exactly.
different,
Yeah.
get, and then come back and get it. You have a different perspective.
Mhm.
Let your mind relax, you know, let yourself
Mhm.
relax, and it makes things a little bit better. You get
Yep.
then you can focus. Um,
Yeah, Sheila, I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to get in the groove for everything. I
yeah,
can't wait. I can't wait. I just gotta brush up on these computer skills and
yeah,
following click this, click that, click
yeah.
that. And when I get all that down, then I'll be on the road. I'll be gone.
There
I
you
can't
go.
wait. Yeah.
And
But
we're
yeah,
going to be
I've
here
been
every step of the way. So, you know,
okay, yeah. And yeah, I've been trying to in every video you watch, every Zoom meeting you go on or whatever, you learn a little bit
yep.
more. Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and that's why I tell people, because they ask me sometimes, there's like, why you still go to Paul's training? Because Paul, I've been in as long as Paul has. And,
Mm-hmm.
well, not long. He's been in about a year more than me. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, y'all both teach things. I was like, yeah, but Paul teaches different than I teach. I said, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like, oh, that's what I'm missing, or yeah, I need to do that. And Paul does
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. You know, he'll ask me, especially when, well, before COVID, when we would go to functions, me and Paul be in a corner somewhere with a computer. How do you do this? What do you the last time we went, when we before we left now no before we left Texas, we were in Texas the last trip. We were in Dallas, and um, I actually ended up staying a night longer. We were supposed to
Mm-hmm.
leave Sunday. I left Monday because there were some other people that couldn't get a flight out. They actually stayed overnight. And me and Paul literally sat down in the lobby. We got a big conference table, and I bet you there was 12 people around the table, and we were going from each person with their computer showing them how to fix their pages.
Nah, that was excellent. That's what Rory was saying. If we
Yep.
help each other and help out anybody need help, we'll
Yep.
grow bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
And Paul was like, well, we're going to the zoo later. I was like, I'm getting on a plane going home. I said, my husband's already texted me, you ain't on the plane. No.
Oh, they wanted to continue having fun, huh?
It is. And I mean, that's one of the things when you get a certain place, you have that option, because like Roy was saying last night, sometimes, money just doesn't become an option. You don't even think about it. It's something you want to do. You just go and do it. And that was where I didn't have to think twice when they was like, hey, can y'all stay over another night? Yeah, let me see if the hotel can, keep my room.
Accommodate you, yeah.
Exactly. And switch plane tickets that, it wasn't a fact of, well, do I have the money to stay or do I have the time to stay? Let me call my boss and say, hey, I need another vacation day. That wasn't an option. It was like, yeah, you need me to stay, I can stay.
That's where I'm trying to get. That's how I want to be. Yeah.
And it's just like he was saying, it's just hard work. This ain't one of those things where it's a gimme, gimme, gimme. It's going to take some work, but once you get the foundation laid down and get the groundwork done, that's why I said my website right now runs itself. I just go in there and tweak it and add some new stuff, get some fresh vendors put in, but it runs itself. And that's where you want to get to it. Yeah, it's taken me, it's been 2.5 years, but I know now I don't have to worry about nothing. It's taken care of. As long as I can maintain it and help other people and show them what I'm doing, it's gonna come. God rewards his people.
Oh yeah. So. I don't mind working hard, because I know it's gonna be an investment, and I enjoy doing what I do, and I just like the collaboration of everybody, the friends and family, and talking. I love all that. Yep.
Well, we got a big family, and that's why I said I can't wait till we get to go start having our conferences again, because you get to meet everybody face to face that you see, every week. And that's why I say you see us every week, but it's just having that face to face just makes everything more real,
Yep. So. Sheila, I was laughing at some of them on Zoom. I think that was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday, because they always alert Wednesday night because they was drinking that wine, so they always alert. But Tuesday, 2 people would sleep on there, and every time every time they bop their head, they would wake up and look.
And see,
I was laughing.
And the thing about it is some of them forget that they're on the camera. And it's like, okay, what's in those of us that are in the East Coast, it's like it starts at 9, so we already half tired. Then when Roy gets long-winded, it's like 11, and it's like, okay, it's time for bed. Whereas with Rory, our 11 o'clock is his 8. So he's they're just getting started.
So where Rory live? I forgot he said
Rory's
it, but
in Utah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That mountain time.
And Priscilla's in California.
Okay.
And Paul's in Minnesota. So they're all, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours behind us in the East Coast. So when they say 9, they're still their afternoon.
Rory is way ahead of us, because when I was living in Denver, we was the same time with Rory, Mountain Time, the Utah time. And that time passed so slow. I don't know what it is. All the rest of the world goes so fast, but when you in Denver and Utah, that area, time goes so slow.
And I think it's that flat land, because when we were in Oklahoma with my son, when he was in school out there, that's the one thing I told my husband. I said, the time is creeping. I said, now if we're back home, it ought to be the next day.
Exactly. Yep. I thought I was the only one seeing that. But
no, and it was like, and it's just, and I told him, I said, it's because it's that in Oklahoma, it's flat. I mean, just flat. Tony was telling us about Arizona. She moved to Arizona. She said it's the same way. Said it's flat. And I was like, well, I'm used to, North Carolina, to the East Coast, where we have mountains and valleys and foothills and ridges. And I said, and you get out that way in the Midwest, it's just flat. It's the same everywhere. I said, so it's almost like the time standing still because nothing changes.
Exactly. Yep. We got a lot of mountains here too in Pennsylvania. Well, I'm in Hazleton, and I'm actually on a mountain. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So, all right, girlie. Well, I'm gonna let you go and get started. You go and refresh, and then when you get started tonight, you just let me know if you need any help, and
Okay.
we'll look for you tonight on the training call. And then, like I said,
Sheila, what's too late for you? Because sometimes I be up to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning doing stuff. Because it's so peaceful at night.
Yeah, I usually try to lay down around 12 o'clock.
Okay, because I didn't want to disturb you.
Yeah, but that don't mean my phone don't go off. Like I said, I got a couple of students that are in Hawaii. They're 12 hours difference from us. One of them's 13 hours different. He's on a different island. So sometimes they'll ping me, and if I'm not quite too far asleep, I'll answer.
Yeah, I understand.
So, and then
because once you're in deep sleep, you don't even hear it.
But like I said, I keep my phone beside my bed. Literally, I keep it beside my bed. But usually, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I check it, and if there's something on there, I'll send you a message. So yeah, if you got a message, send it to me. I'll check it and send it back to you as soon as I can. But usually, up until 11 o'clock, I'm up. So if you send me a message, I'll respond to it. I won't answer the phone because usually my grandkids, I usually cut the ringer off about 9 o'clock because the grandkids are here. So it doesn't disturb them. But if you send me anything, usually I'll respond back up until about 11 o'clock.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right, dear. Well, you have a blessed one, and I'm excited for you.
Oh, me too. And I'm glad to be connected with you.
We seem like we got a lot in common.
Yeah,